stream to see if we have audio on Twitch. And I think I may do this as the announcer from Hacksaw from now on, because I'm just going to keep talking until I hear things. And that worked, so now I can start the Dementia Radio chat and do that. And recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice!
Hey, Luke Ski!
So, are we ready for our virtual comedy show to begin?
We are ready for our virtual comedy show with our special guest, Steve Goodie. Hey, Steve!
Hey!
Hi, those who rip off my genius.
Yeah, well, okay, first we're going to do the top 10. I wish I had prepared one, because that would have been funny.
Sir. Well played. That would be good. Just because my genius isn't originally mine doesn't mean you're not ripping it off.
This is true. This is true. All right, welcome to episode 774 of the Funny Music Podcast for Thursday, April 17th, 2024, or 2025, sorry. Title of this episode is Cloistered Scream. So, there you go. All right. Let's do the catch-up thingy.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
Oh, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to?
Well, first of all, there's all the stuff that happened, a week and a half ago that I'm assuming you all talked about.
We talked about that last week, but feel free to tell your side of things because, you weren't here for it.
I wasn't here last week.
Yeah,
so.
and Steve was also at the thing, so you can chime in too.
Oh boy.
Yeah, just basically, it was awesome seeing a whole lot of us Dr. Demento type people at Dr. Demento's birthday celebrations the previous weekend. And then, and also the Steve Goodie house concert palooza at
Sulu Palooza.
We were going with Sulu Fest, but Sulu Palooza works well too.
I think Sulu Palooza has a ring to it.
Well, since there was a couch there, some people were sitting in, it could be Couchella. It could be that.
Nice.
But that was super fun, and thank you to Steve Goodie for allowing me and 87 other people to do songs.
Sure.
Actually got some time to hang out with Jeff Morris and Chuck, who crashed here after the Sulu house party thing and everything. So that was cool. And then last weekend, myself and Kalani took a kind of mini vacation because we were originally going to be going to Star Wars Celebration out in Japan, but with her whole health situations and everything, we knew that she wouldn't be able to do that. So in lieu of that, we did a 4-day mini vacation to San Diego, and I basically used that as the excuse to hit like the 4 big attractions of San Diego that I had never been to before, just so that I can have been to them. So on Thursday we went to the San Diego Zoo, which was cool. And Friday we went to SeaWorld, which was particularly cool because we got to do like a paid for an extra experience thing where I got to meet a penguin.
Oh,
and
cool.
I got to pet that penguin. And it was really cool. The penguin was named Pickwick, a macaroni penguin, the ones with the little yellow things that kind of come out the side of the head. So that was cool. And then Saturday, we went to Legoland, which was a lot of fun. And then on Sunday we went to Sesame Place, and basically just it's like I knew that it was basically a theme park for toddlers, but it's like it's based on Sesame Street. Jim Henson is my hero. It's like I want to see this place. So I got to get a picture with Grover, which was cool.
Wow.
And Big Bird, and also there was Elmo and Julia. Julia's one of the newer Sesame Street Muppets. So but yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I saved. It's like basically the whole notion of going crazy buying souvenirs I saved for Sesame Place, because I got a whole bunch of Cookie Monster shirts, mainly because Cookie Monster is my all-time favorite. So yeah, and then yeah, that was more or less it. And then since then I've been going back and forth trying to get things done, and still going out and helping Kalani with things. In fact, tonight after the show I'm going to drive back out there because tomorrow she is getting her port put in, which is basically she's going to be starting chemotherapy a week from tomorrow, and so they're basically installing this port thing in her so that it makes it easy to plug in and do the chemotherapy, so they don't have to keep whatever, plugging it, into your arm or something like that every time. So, yeah. Kalani, we finally got the official word of what the rest of her treatment is going to be. And it's like, it's a lot, but it's like the high end of what we were told was to possibly expect. So it's not like it's any worse than we were told it was going to be. Yeah. Potentially. So she has 5 months of chemotherapy, starting next week on Friday, and then after that she'll have to do between 3 to 5 weeks of radiation treatments. So that means she'll be done with all of this treatment stuff by at the absolute latest, like October 17th. So it sucks, but hey, it's things have been going really well with her recovery. In fact, she saw the plastic surgeon for a checkup, and the guy said she was healing so well that he asked her if he could use photographs of her as like an example of how good a job they all do. So like obviously they wouldn't have her face in the but so yeah, so it's like I told you, things were going great. So yeah, so things are going really well with her, and we got to have a lot of wacky fun. And we saw a Minecraft movie, which hopefully... Oh, that's the other thing I should mention. Episode 3 of the Animation and Stuff podcast is finished. The audio is finished. I am currently working on a piece of artwork as the promo image for it. So I'm going to try to get that done and posted tonight. And then it's me and Insane Ian talking about The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, and some other things. And sometime soon, I'm going to record another episode with Carrie as my guest, and we're going to talk about a Minecraft movie, because she managed to get out to see that. Cool. So,
cool.
So, yeah. Anyway, what have you been up to?
Oh, I had fun. Okay, so while we were in California... on Monday, Steve, myself, and Sulu went to Six Flags Magic Mountain, had a grand old time. Monday night, came back to Sulu's place, and Steve, if you remember, she was like, God, I have so many cookies. Please take some of these cookies with you. And she gave me, I got like a gallon Ziploc bag, and I was like, all right, fine, I'll take some cookies. So I took the cookies that Lindsay made, which were these really good, like, mint chocolate cookies. They're basically chocolate cookies with Andes mints in them. They're really good. And I took some chocolate chip cookies, which were from some local store. They're also really good. I skipped all the ones that had nuts in them. And then I saw some oatmeal raisin cookies, which I don't like, but my wife does. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll take some oatmeal raisin for my wife. Threw them all in the bag.
Oh, good. What could go wrong?
Yeah. Threw them all in the bag. Went home. Because they were just in a plastic bag and in my suitcase, which I checked, about half of them made it home intact. The rest of them were just kind of crumbled into little pieces, roughly like an inch square. So all last week, I'm snacking on these cookies. No problem. Saturday evening, Jen was cooking, but it was late and I was hungry and I was like, I'm going to grab a cookie. So I reach in and I pull out what I thought was a piece of a chocolate chip cookie, popped it in my mouth, and it was an oatmeal raisin cookie. And I'm like,
no.
I don't like oatmeal raisin. So I was like, all right, I'm an adult. I can handle a fucking raisin. I'm not going to spit it out. So I swallowed it. 5 seconds later, my mouth starts to swell up. And I was like, God damn it. And sometimes they make oatmeal raisin cookies with ground up walnuts. That's bad. So my mouth is starting to get itchy, and it's just it's not a bad reaction, but it's just irritating. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take some Benadryl.
Like when all that. Oh, I was just gonna say when all that was happening, did you emit any kind of a cloistered stream?
I did, in fact, with lots of profanity.
Genius.
So I went upstairs, took 2 Benadryl, came back down, figured, I'll be itchy for 20 minutes and that'll be the end of it. Because the last time I reacted to nuts was about 12 years ago, I think it was. And I bit into an ice cream, a Choco Taco, actually, that has peanuts in it. I thought they were Rice Krispies. And I same thing, just reaction in my mouth. I took a Benadryl. 20 minutes later, I was fine. So I figured that would be the end of it. So then I had to walk the dogs. So I go out, I'm walking the dogs, walking around the neighborhood. I get to over there where my kid's bus stop was when they were little. And I'm starting to get lightheaded. And like, I'm getting this pressure build up in my head. And as I'm going, it's getting worse. And like the pressure was so bad. And it wasn't sinus pressure. It was just generalized pressure. My head started to hurt like hell. I started getting nauseous and dizzy. So I was like, I should probably go home. So I cut the walk short, headed home, got inside, and I walked in and, released the dogs. And my wife looked at me and I said, I'm reacting to a nut. And she rolled her eyes and went back to cooking. So shows you where I stand. So then she asked me to put the rice away because we have these big containers that used to hold pretzels and now hold rice. That's what she uses to store them. So she gives me 2 of these things, tells me to put them in the garage. So I do. So I'm fumbling my way over to the garage, managed to get the garage door open, managed to get into the pantry that we have in the garage. And I remember putting one of them in the pantry. I don't remember putting the other one in the pantry because at this point I was starting to lose consciousness. And my son happened to see me and asked me if I was okay. I don't remember how I answered him. I know I said something about a nut allergy, and the next thing I know, I remember being on my knees, reaching for something to grab onto. And then I remember hearing Darren saying, "You're passing out." And then the next thing I remember is my face hitting the bucket full of tools we have in the garage.
Oh, ow, Jesus.
Yeah. So it's healed now, but I had a nasty gouge right here and then a scratch on the side of my face from that. So then I look up and Darren is on the phone to 911. Props to that kid. He handled this whole situation beautifully, I must say. Very proud of him. So he's on the phone to 911, tells them where we are, what's going on and everything. I don't know whether it was his idea or the dispatcher's idea, but he asked me if I wanted my EpiPens, and I said, yeah, probably a good idea. Let's get the EpiPens. So he ran upstairs. I'm still barely conscious at this point, and he comes down with 5 of them. Now, we've had these things forever, and I know most of them are expired. So I was like, just find one that, like the newest one, and give it to me. And so he gives it to me. I jam it into my leg, and nothing happens. And I look at it, and I realize I don't have the brain capacity to figure out what the fuck is wrong right now. So I handed it back to him, and I said, make it work. And he looked at it, he took the top off, handed it back to me. I jammed it into my thigh, and that time it worked because I felt the needle go in. So then I just sat there for a minute and looked up at him, and he goes, do you want another one? And I was like, yeah, let's do another one. So I took a second one, jammed it into my other thigh, and then just waited there for things to start kicking in. Then I felt like I really had to shit all of a sudden. So I was like, help me to the bathroom. So he helps me into the bathroom, which thankfully was right next to the garage, so I didn't have to go far. And so I sat down in the toilet. Nothing happened. So pulled my pants back up. Sorry for that mental image. And just kind of collapsed on the floor and leaned up against the wall. And I just sat there. And by this point, I was completely out of it. And Darren was still on the phone to, with the dispatcher, and they said the police would be here any minute. So I hear my wife go lock the dogs upstairs in our bedroom. So Darren wrangled the dogs and brought them upstairs, and then came back down and let the police in. So cop comes in, he's got an oxygen tank, and, I explained to him what happened and what's going on and everything. And he says, do you want oxygen? And I'm like, you know what? It couldn't hurt. So I put the oxygen mask on. I don't think it helped at all. I wasn't having trouble breathing, so I don't know that it helped at all. Maybe it did, but I don't know. Now, here's the other side of the story. This is the second time I've had somebody call an ambulance for me living in this neighborhood, and the second time it's taken over an hour for an ambulance to arrive. I really hope if I ever really need an ambulance because I'm fucking dying, it doesn't happen here. Apparently, there was some kind of banquet Saturday night that all the ambulance drivers were at. So there weren't any ambulances locally. I'm like, that seems like a bad idea. Like who planned that? There's no coverage anywhere. So they had to get an ambulance from fucking Parsippany, which is 45 minutes south. So from the time Darren placed the call to the time the EMTs arrived was an hour. So they show up. By this point, the mouth reaction had stopped completely. The Benadryl did its job. I still had a headache. I was still jittery from the adrenaline. And I was just still a little lightheaded and not really thinking clearly. And EMTs came, took my blood pressure. It was 220/95. And that was probably on the way down. So that's probably why I passed out, but the adrenaline probably made it worse.
Holy crap.
But yeah, I'm kind of surprised my heart didn't explode. So
yeah.
So at that point, I called my father, who's an allergist, as some of you know. And I wanted to get his opinion on what happened because I was concerned about the fact that I passed out, because that's never happened before. I've never had that kind of reaction before. I've had to take adrenaline before. I haven't had to do that in years. I mean, this was the first time I actually had to use an EpiPen. Prior to that, the last time I took adrenaline, my father actually had a syringe and was drawing the extract and stuff and gave it to me directly. So that's how long ago that was. It was pre-EpiPen. So I explained to him what happened to my father. I have him on speaker so the EMTs can hear and everything, and they're talking about everything. And my father asked me if I swallowed the cookie, and I said yes, and he goes, shit, because that means it's still in my system. I never threw it up, which means there's a chance of a secondary reaction up to 6 hours later. And I was like, fuck, all right, fine. Okay. So
call the ambulance now.
Well, they're already there. So that was his main concern, was a secondary reaction. And he also said that in his 40 some odd years of practicing allergy, he's never heard of anybody passing out from an anaphylactic reaction. It's always been, the throat swells shut and they stop breathing because they can't pass any air. But passing out is like not something that happens when you eat a peanut. So he didn't know why that was the case. And I said, do you think I need to go to the hospital, get checked out? He said yes. And I was in no condition to argue with him. So I went to the hospital. So spent Saturday night in the ER. By the time I got there, I was mostly better. My blood pressure had come down. I was thinking straight again. The reaction to my mouth had stopped. I was basically over it at this point. But they were concerned about, possible secondary reaction and the fact that I passed out and nobody knows why. So they, bring me into the ER, hook up an IV, takes a whole bunch of blood, give me a whole bunch of medicine, and then just observed me for the night. And overnight, they started doing more and more tests. And one of the tests they did was an enzyme test on my heart to see if I had a heart attack. And I have the app on my phone for, I think it's called MyChart, where when they get test results, it automatically updates the app. So I get the results immediately with like all the raw data. Not that I know how to interpret the data, but it gives you some indication of what's happening. So I'm looking at these test results and I'm like, did I have a fucking heart attack? Because that would explain what happened, what felt like in the garage. So the doctor who had been seeing me all night didn't know for sure. So he called a cardiology consult. And so Sunday morning, the cardiologist came in and saw me and spoke to me, and we talked about what happened, and we went over the test results. And I was like, did I have a heart attack? And he said, no, you did not have a heart attack. And I went, okay, well, that's good, at least. But he does want to, see me in the future. I haven't made that appointment yet because I need to figure out my insurance first. But,
oh my God.
But
Jeez, I forgot about that.
Yeah. But the thing that started all of this was they did an EKG, and the main doctor, the non-cardiologist, was concerned about something he saw in the EKG. The cardiologist said there's any number of explanations for what he saw in the EKG, including the leads being out of position. So he wants to get me in the office and do another EKG to make sure that, just to rule that out and see if my heart's okay. The last test they did was an ultrasound on my heart to make sure that, everything was structurally okay, because my father has a heart defect that he was born with, and it's entirely possible I inherited it and we didn't know. So they did the ultrasound on my heart, and my heart's fine. So there was nothing further to hold me in the hospital. So they released me Sunday around lunchtime or so. So wow. That was my big adventure over the weekend. That was so much fun.
Yay!
Yeah.
Hey, if you want a port installed, I know a guy.
God, if only there was a song about how the reactions of emergency services were quite laughable.
Indeed,
like something.
Like something's a joke almost.
A song with flavor.
Yeah, a song with flavor. Yeah.
A song that would make you get up and then get down.
Yeah, indeed. Well, that's what I did in the garage. Right on my face even. So.
And then you said, ow.
Yeah.
Ow.
I did, as a matter of fact. So the other part of this story is that I was supposed to be filming on Sunday because I had been cast in a web series that was filming on Sunday. It was my acting teacher. It was one of his projects, so it wasn't like, it wasn't a paying gig or anything. But still, it's a shoot that involved a dozen people. That's really hard to schedule a dozen people on the same day. So I texted him on Sunday morning and I'm like, hey, I spent the night in the ER. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here. I'm still planning to come to the shoot, but I might be late. And he was like, don't even worry about it. We'll shoot around you and we'll pick you up later. So I was like, okay, well, we'll see what time I get out of here. I did manage to make it to the shoot. I was a couple hours late from my original call time, but, and everybody else in the scenes that I was filming had already left, except for the lead actress who I was working opposite, and so we were able to just do my shots, just one-offs for the lines that I had. Didn't even have to do the whole scene, and I was in and out in 20 minutes. It was just done. So that went well. But the really ironic thing is my acting teacher was also at the ER at the same time I was, because his son had injured himself wrestling and he had to go to the ER for stitches.
I thought you were going to say it was some kind of chocolate allergy. So then it would be like, hey, you got your chocolate allergy and my peanut allergy.
You got your peanut allergy and my chocolate allergy. No, nothing like that. But when I showed up to class Monday night and I was telling some people what happened, and he's like, wait a minute, you were there Saturday night? Like, what time? I was like, I think we got there around 11. He's like, yeah, I was there at 11:30. And how we didn't see each other because we were on opposite sides of where the rooms were, but it was funny.
Wow.
So yeah, so that has been my week. So Steve, what have you been up to?
I was going to say about how I came back to Tennessee and the allergies are real bad, but now I feel like a jerk. Been practicing my juggling. Not getting any better at it, but I'm practicing.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks.
I took 2 semesters of juggling in college. My parents were so proud.
You can take juggling in college now. Wow.
Well, not now. 30 years ago, whenever I was in college. But yeah, RIT had some really wild phys ed courses. I took 2 semesters of downhill skiing, 1 semester of cross country skiing, 1 semester of skeet shooting, and 2 semesters of juggling.
Damn. All right. I didn't do any of that. We played a little badminton, but it wasn't for credit. That's crazy.
Yeah, I had to take 6 phys ed classes.
And I never got an EpiPen either.
Aw.
Yeah.
By the way, I do have new EpiPens now that haven't expired. Some of the ones that Darren found were older than he is. So we threw those out.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah.
Man. Okay. Yeah, I got nothing to report. I mean, I have this bell. It works. That's fun. But really, since I'm back in Nashville for like 10 days and I'm flying back to my car, which is parked in Los Angeles, and then I'll continue up the West Coast. But at the moment, life is relatively normal compared to you guys.
Wait, did you drive to Los Angeles initially?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm on tour, stopping in cities and doing shows.
Oh.
And it will continue on the West Coast as of next Wednesday.
Oh, okay. It seems weird that your car is out there and you're not, but I guess, yeah, okay.
It does seem weird. Every time I go out there, like, where the hell's my car? Oh, right. The fun part is that all of my tools are in the car. So if anything breaks around here, either it won't get fixed or I got to go buy more tools. But I don't have a car in which to go buy more tools. So,
Yeah, okay.
alternate forms of transportation. Yeah, so just kind of hoping everything stays functional, which of course it won't. The washing machine's making a weird noise.
Of course.
That's good. Yeah. So I jammed an EpiPen into it, and that didn't do anything. But then I looked, and apparently, I don't know what was in my pockets when I was washing, but I found a peanut down there. So
your washing machine's probably allergic to peanuts too. And
that's my guess. And what I'm really worried about is the second event. I don't. Plus, around here, we have ambulances, but nobody knows where the keys are. So I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah.
All right. So, give us a quick intro to this song, and we will give it a listen.
Okay. For 40 years, I've been trying to think of a parody to Life is a Highway because I just really like that song, and everybody knows there's not one person on this planet who doesn't know that song, and I don't know of anybody who's done a parody of it, so I finally thought of something.
All right. Here is My Wife's in a Five-Way by Steve Goodie.
And I have been going strong, barely a fight, what could go wrong? But then last night she asked me, babe, have you ever thought about a three-way? I was stunned, I was shocked, felt my face turn red. You're reading my mind is what I shouldn't have said. Then she clapped her hands, and through the front door came a dude I'd never seen before. Confusion must have been written all over my face. Cause she said, baby, there's so much more, just wait. Come on in, everybody! My wife's into 5 ways, and I was excited, but this feels wrong. If I had it my way, we'd have invited some girls along. Women, not girls, grown women. I know this story is quite cliche. Careful what you wish for, especially these days. I love my wife, but I wish I'd known about the crazy apps on her phone. Nah, monogamy's what she's all about. I got a lot to learn, lots of ins and outs, and what's right or wrong. Who's to say with so much ding dong and one for JJ? Am I in the cuck chair? I think I am. Yeah, they stuck me in the corner with the video camera. My wife's in a five-way. I'm going blind watching on my phone. It's buffering. Forwards, backwards, and sideways. They're all riding her all night long. Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, giddy up. My wife's in a five-way. For Valentine's, she'll be getting this dumb song. Now they're doing cosplay. Darth Vader's wearing a SpongeBob thong. There was a distance between her and me, because her and I is grammatically incorrect, okay? Now parts of us are all over her FYP, where the whole damn world sees. My wife's into five ways, but I counted 7 balls. I think something's wrong. Oh, hi, Lance Armstrong. She invited this guy, Ray, and he brought the entire Jiffy Lube team along. Yeah, hey, fellas. My wife likes her five-way. Hey, look, she's wearing her new strap-on.
Watch out, I don't know how it works.
Hey, look, it's more cosplay. Rod Stewart sticking it to Elton John. Don't let the sun go down on me. My wife's in a five-way. She's going at it like she's James Bond. Oh, James. Now they're out in the driveway. 4 meatball subs and yeah, she's the Dom. You want everything on that? My wife's in a five-way. When the light's just right, one of them looks just like Kim Jong-un. She does this every Friday, and then Saturday it's bowling and then mahjong.
Okay, so you took 20 some odd years to come up with a parody of Life is a Highway, and you came up with one of the greatest songs you've ever done, in my opinion. So well done.
Thanks. 40 years, actually.
40
Thank you
years.
very much.
Okay. But hey, time waits for perfection, man. So yeah, I was first time I heard this song was when you announced your album, and I was like, oh, I should listen to that while I'm making Steve's CDs. So I'm over there folding the clamshell, the
different
clamshell,
CD.
the other, the Weird Al tribute CDs. Folding and gluing those things, listening to this album. This song comes on, and I had to stop. I had to stop working because I was laughing too hard, and I was afraid of screwing something up. So, yeah, freaking
Thanks.
great song. Absolutely amazing.
Thanks.
And I was very happy you performed
big thank
this
you
at
to my
Sulu's.
friend Neat Bagnell.
Say that again?
Yeah, it's like, well, to answer that, I'm going to perform it everywhere I can because it's awfully strong, apparently. Can't do it at the Bluebird, not Bluebird friendly, which is so frustrating because I'm there every week. I've been talking to some friends. There's any way to clean this up? Nah, you'll kill it. But I want to thank Neve Bagnell, my Irish friend who helped a lot with the writing of this, and also our friend Kendra Shepard, who contributed 3 words, but they are critical. SpongeBob, when I was trying to think of what kind of thong would Darth Vader would be wearing, and she said SpongeBob. And also, what was the other thing she contributed? Cuck chair. That's
Okay.
right. I didn't know that was a thing. I was saying, am I a cuck here? She said, no, cuck chair is what you want. Okay. Thank you very much.
And you know what's funny is while I was flying to California, I was walking through the airport, and Life is a Highway came on the overhead system, and I'm just and I hadn't memorized your song, but I'm just walking around. My wife's in a 5-way. Hi folks, how you doing?
Thanks, man. The next big goal is to do Walking on Sunshine. That's the other song from the 80s that absolutely everybody knows, and I don't think there's a parody of that I know of. You would know. If Tom Rockwell hasn't heard of a parody of it, then it doesn't exist.
I think there is one, at least.
Then maybe I won't bother.
No, I'm sure you'll come up with something better, because if I can't remember what it is, then it's not that great of a parody. I'm walking on sunshine.
Okay, but if it turns out it's one of our friends, you're going to be sorry.
It's definitely not something that's on the FuMP, so you don't have to worry about that. This isn't another Bert's No Good
Okay.
situation.
I love that one so much too. You're killing me, Smalls.
Well, I mean, you could still do it.
How about a
but
song
I mean,
about?
I know. What,
How
Luke?
about a song about Columbo being attracted to you sexually? It could be Peter Falk says my bum's fine.
Wow.
no!
A parody idea.
Yeah. Not just dumb, but the biggest reach I think I've ever heard.
A reach
You
around.
Put you can put the reach around into reaching. Yes, haha. Actually, I just Googled parody of Walking on Sunshine, and I see like 6 of them here. So I don't know. I'll have to listen to them, see if they're any good.
If you found them on YouTube, probably not.
You never know.
So, okay,
See,
so yeah.
when
So,
I'm in this situation, I actually will ask.
go ahead.
There must be like an incredible amount of lag because
Yeah, because my internet connection
recently there's been a lot
absolutely
of situations.
sucks. Like my entire neighborhood has been calling Optimum and complaining daily. Several of them have filed complaints with the FCC. Like, our connection is atrocious, and that
While you
results in
sort
even
it out, I
longer
just
lag.
looked this up. What could that be?
Hey,
Well, you
look,
guys
it's
are lagging.
Steve's new album.
Yeah. The artist eventually known as somebody you've heard of. Artwork by Chuck. Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
something that I often do when I want to write a song parody, but I'm curious to know if anyone else has done it, but I don't want it to taint the idea. Instead, in case I decide to do it anyway, is I will ask somebody else to, hey, go see if anybody's done this or that and tell me if you find anything. And then if the other person, will kind of get back to me and tell me whether it's happened or not, and then I can decide whether or not I still want to go ahead with my thing anyway. So,
Yeah. Good call. By the way, when I was juggling while the song was playing, I don't know if you noticed this, but I dropped the balls a couple times and they rolled under the table. So I got out the old lint roller. So while we were listening to the song, I was lint rolling my balls. And I thought I should make that known.
I've had Kalani do that to me.
Ba-dum-bum. And now I got it. Now I got to get a port installed. Thanks a lot.
I have these
Too
stress
far?
balls that I got from one of my old jobs, and I intentionally took 3 of them so that I could juggle with them.
That's nice. Everybody's better at it than me.
Took
I
2
can juggle
semesters,
2. I've
dude.
never been able to handle 3.
Yeah, but I've been at this for I think 7 months. For the first 2 months, I was doing at least 15 minutes a day, often more than that, and I got to the point where I could do this. I could do 25 without having to think about it too hard, and now I'm getting worse.
Well, you're also
Just sad.
sitting down and you're talking to us
And
at
the
the
idea-
same time. There's a difference between just doing it and
I'm
like
also-
performing it.
I'm also staring into a light, which is not helping.
Yeah.
But those are the things you have to be able to handle if you're going to do this professionally, in circumstances where you're trying to promote a show in Edinburgh. That's the goal of this. I can stand on the sidewalk and go, hey, everybody, who wants to come see my dumb show about Weird Al Yankovic, who you've never heard of? Plus, there's this. Hey, look at that. Maybe if I just keep talking. Nope, that doesn't do it.
That sounds like the best setup for a Black Mirror episode I've ever heard.
This is the best FuMPCast ever.
Oh, you should have heard last week's. We went off on this whole rant about capitalism at the end of the show. It was wild. I'm not even joking.
I wouldn't worry about it. There will be no more capital. Pretty
Yeah,
soon.
yeah.
It doesn't really matter. Get in your ambulance rides now.
Yeah. So yeah, is there anything else you could tell us about the song or the album? We've kind of gone off kilter, but
The album's available. The album is available at stevegoodie.com. Thanks to the nice people at Needle Juice Records. Go get it. Tell all your friends. Tell your enemies. Just buy the damn thing. Was that so much to ask? Just buy it. Just buy it.
highly
Just
recommend
work out
this
what we
album.
have.
I think it's one of your best.
Yes. Thanks. And everyone comes with a brand new EpiPen.
Woohoo!
That's what that is through my head. That's an EpiPen. Sorry. I'm being very insensitive today. I
It's fine.
apologize.
If I couldn't take it, I wouldn't be here. So
Yeah, but it's not just you. It's poor Kalani, who's not even here to defend herself.
yeah. I was going to mention before, from the trip to California, I was very happy I finally got to meet Kalani. She and I talked a whole bunch while we were out there. She seems great, Luke. Good one. I don't know what else to say.
Yes, you have the FuMP seal of approval.
Yeah.
I said during my little my song during the big house concert with Steve. When I got up, I said, the 5 reasons I was choosing that particular song to do, which was Snoopy the Dog. I said number 1 was that this is my girlfriend's favorite song of mine, of the 6 that she's heard.
Wow.
I mean, it's like we've been together over a year and a half. I bet if I asked her to name 5 songs and accurately by title, she'd maybe get 2.
Now you're very wise to withhold them.
Dude, I don't think my wife can name 5 of my songs. So my wife has actually said she likes the songs where I don't rap so much.
Connie will ask me, it's like, what about Devo's wife? What does she do? I'm like, she's like, she's part of the shadow government. I'm not sure. She just kind of is off in her own realm. You have to use Doctor Strange magic to find her and be like, hey, how's it going? No, it's going just fine. I think I swallowed a peanut. Oh, you'll be fine. I'm going to go back to the shadow realm.
I'm not sure that she exists because I've never seen Devo and her at the same time.
Well, that was what I told Kalani. Was like, I'm glad to see you actually exist and weren't a figment of Luke's imagination. So,
yeah, like the previous. Never mind. It doesn't matter.
Steve, anything you'd like to plug?
SteveGoodie.com and see where I'm going to be on tour. I'll be, be in Seattle on the 26th. I'll be in Newport, Oregon on the 2nd of May, Boise on the 3rd of May, Salt Lake City on the 4th of May, Denver on the 5th of May, Omaha on the 6th of May, and I can't remember what else. So come see the calendar. Come check me out. That'd be great.
All right. We're going to move on to the second song. I do have a pre-recorded interview with Lauren Mayer coming up. Are you going to stick around or are you taking off?
I got to run. But
Okay.
Thank you very much, guys.
All right. Bye, Steve. Catch you next time.
Catch you later, Steve. Bye.
Dance like a scientist. Do it more.
The FuMPFest 2024 2-CD set is now available.
Now I'm living my truth. I'm making from the waist down. I'm Donald Ducking it. Yeah.
I had the copyright on the word.
And time again, the junior staff has always proven that they keep it ship full. Cause lower decks keep it moving. Lower decks, lower decks, lower decks, lower decks keep it moving. Lower.
Your own vegetable Jesus.
So I made it with a bagel and cream cheese cause I was feeling high. Everyone singing.
That your favorite show is never coming back. It's dead in the ground. And that's that.
You're a screws loose boozer and only 1-star reviewer. You're a power bottom at rock bottom, but you got company.
Make me feel better.
We chant Cogmore at FuMPFest than we do at any other time of year.
Call of Cthulhu, we love you. You're the greatest game now.
Whether or not you deserve it, everybody will get served at the zombie apocalypse party.
Available now in the store at FuMPFest.com and thefump.com.
Time for funny music news. Something.
In the news, this was on my list and then I forgot to add it to the script, so it's a little late. But on April 4th, Riki Lindhome released her new album, No Worries If Not. It's available on all the major streaming platforms. It's a very funny album, but a very personal album about her struggles with infertility. She ended up having to use a surrogate mother with finally have a baby. But it's a very funny album, so definitely check out No Worries If Not by Riki Lindhome. And that's kind of the only news I got. Luke, you got MarsCon news?
Do I?
I'm just wondering if I saw this before you did.
You know something I don't know?
I do, apparently. The room block is open for next year. So if you are interested in going to MarsCon 2026, which is March 6th through 8th, 2026, the room block is now open. You can book your hotel room for next year. MarsCon.org/hotel. I saw that come up on my feed right before we
I have a pretty
started.
good idea of who I'm going to ask to be. Yeah, I have a pretty good idea of who I'm going to ask to be the guest of honor. I just haven't started the discussions yet because all the things are happening at the same time. So I'll get to that at some point. But yeah, I typically, if I can find out early enough to announce the guest of honor, during the summer or early fall, I'll do that. But I typically don't get super into planning MarsCon and doing all that stuff until like around October-ish. So, yeah, because I like to give the world a break for half a year. So,
all right. Anything else?
I was going to say this isn't like news, but
go ahead.
I wanted to mention that Bryn, I believe it was on Facebook, was talking about she was just asking the world, is there has anyone taken it upon themselves to make a Spotify playlist of new comedy songs and new comedy albums that have been released, in the calendar year? So kind of like what you were doing with keeping track of the new album releases on that one spreadsheet we have, but that as a Spotify playlist that people could listen to. So I just wanted to mention that, not saying that you, Devo Spice, yourself have to do it, but maybe somebody out in our listening base would take it upon themselves to start such a thing and then let everyone know about it so we can report it here on the news to know, hey, go look up this playlist on Spotify if you want to hear the newest comedy albums and songs that have come out that year. So that's a thing.
Yeah, it's a good idea. All right, tour dates. On Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee, Steve Goodie hosting at the Bluebird. Sundays online, 2 Sleeps. Mondays online, Steve Goodie and Brad Tassel at virtualcomedyshow.com. Mondays and Tuesdays online, Bill Larkin. And the rest of these are all Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. On the 18th in Novato, California. On the 19th in Palo Alto, California. The 25th and 26th in Sacramento, California. And the 27th in Santa Cruz, California. And that's it. All right. Second song is by Lauren Mayer. Here is the new one by her. I've seen smarter cabinets at IKEA.
This administration is causing consternation, doing damage for which there's no panacea. Trump's advisors and his cronies are idiotic phonies. Oh, I've seen smarter cabinets at IKEA. None of them know what they're doing as they attempt to ruin our country's democratic idea. Though they might make me and you curse, at least they're too dumb to do worse. Yeah, I've seen smarter cabinets at IKEA. Incompetence, it turns out, is a feature, not a bug. I can't keep track of all the stupid stuff they do. Some Republicans are starting to complain, to which I shrug. These idiots were all confirmed by you. So let's all fight back like hell, using words that they can't spell, while they're spewing lies like verbal diarrhea. Pretty soon, thanks to these measles, we'll all be pregnant, broke, and have measles. Boy, I've seen smarter cabinets at IKEA. They're closing programs, firing workers with unseemly haste. Their disdain for expertise could not be clearer. But if they're really serious about cutting fraud and waste, they ought to start by looking in the mirror. Turns out it's not smart to choose folks from seeing on Fox News like you're shopping at some right-wing galleria. When you hire folks cause they suck up, you know they're gonna fuck up. But if they praise Trump Trump like we're in North Korea. He'll adore them like Pygmalion's Galatea. Oi, I've seen smarter cabinets at IKEA. Wait, don't.
I am here with Lauren Mayer. How you doing, Lauren?
I'm great. Delighted to see you. I love doing these by Zoom so I get to see your face.
So a little behind the scenes here. We were supposed to do this interview about an hour and a half ago. Lauren didn't show up. She's not answering my texts. And I'm hearing on the news that Trump is talking about deporting U.S. citizens, specifically those who disagree with him. And I'm like, did Lauren get deported?
Oh, no.
Like that seriously crossed my mind. I'm like, probably not.
Oh
okay,
my God.
But like,
no, I spaced. And I'm so sorry I spaced out because of the time zone difference. And I'm so good at calculating your time that I wrote it down in my calendar on your time instead of mine.
Ah, okay.
Oh, that's why and I had it in my head, but I put it on because we booked this when I was on East Coast time.
Oh,
I was back
okay.
East.
Okay. Yeah, those damn heathen time zones.
So, yes, exactly. So, and I am so sorry to worry you. Fortunately, I'm not nearly famous enough to get deported.
Well, I mean, they got to start somewhere, right? So, and we got enough anti-Trump songs on the FuMP that we might attract his attention. So, yeah.
That's true, but this is where being a little bit not famous is a good thing. So
yeah,
anyway,
so
I'll
tell
keep
us
you
about
posted if I get deported.
Okay, so tell us about his cabinet here.
Well, I mean, I already did Cabinet of Crackpots to Hit Me With Your Best Shot. I've done some stuff. I mean, I did Poppycock instead of Popular for RFK Jr. I did something about Matt Gaetz before they pulled his nomination. I mean, they're so easy because it's not even like he's attempting to look like he's doing anything but appointing people because they look good on Fox News and they fawn up to him so ridiculously. But I was at one of the big protests on the 5th, but I did this song before then. I actually saw one of these signs. Somebody had sent me a picture from a previous protest, but I saw some of the protest in Boston, which is where I was when I messed up the time zones. And I saw this poster several times saying, I've seen smarter cabinets at IKEA, which, do you guys have IKEA, Becky?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was just a Northern California thing. So anyway, when I see signs like that just are screaming out for a country song, I have to go with it. And I've done several songs based on signs. My most successful was probably a song inspired by a sign that said, I didn't come from your rib, you came from my vagina. Can I say that on the FuMP?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just a body part. A very useful one. So anyway, I did that. And actually the next song I'm doing is probably going to be based on a sign too, because they're just, I don't know if any of the people listening or if you've got to go to any of these protests.
I did not.
But on top of the fact that it was encouraging to see how many people turned out, but also how joyful and fun and funny it was with really fun costumes. I felt bad. My husband and we only got to go to the tail end because we were in Boston for a wedding and visiting family. We got to go to the tail end. And we were just taking pictures the whole time because there were so many good signs and costumes. So, anyway, the signs and the sense of humor on our side is hilarious. So
you're going to have a whole bunch of like song titles based on signs. Like you should your album should be called like Signs or something like that.
Protest signs. Yeah.
Protest
actually,
signs, yeah.
If My Uterus Were a Gun was based on a sign. I did that one once. If Men Could Get Pregnant, that was on that. I saw a sign with that. So I'll give a little sneak preview. By the time this comes out tomorrow, I will post this on Friday. I saw a sign that said, "No wonder eggs are so expensive. All the chickens are in Congress." And doesn't that just scream country music? So I don't know if people are familiar with, I don't know what the real person's name is, but there's an online character named Mrs. Betty Bowers, America's Best Christian. And she does quite a bit of posting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a female comedian. She dresses up kind of like a church lady.
Yeah.
And sometimes she does serious stuff, but I may have to. So this country wig, can I tell the country character
Sure.
story?
Yeah.
So years ago, I became friends with and then matched up as performing partners with a woman who we decided we were twins from previous life, both in Southern California, both have a Jewish dad and a Christian mom, although my mom converted, her dad sort of went Christian. But anyway, same sense of humor, out there, funny. We have similar gestures and mannerisms. And when she was performing solo, she had a character named Jewel T, just with the letter T. It's this big hair, big blonde, which is the wig I used in the video. And when we formed our act together, her country character was so fun. I said, I want to be that. So we came up with a duo known as the Jugs. This was back when the Jeds were very popular. Mine was Brown, and my character was Janie Bob Joji. And then we were Jewel and Janie Jug. And we would do these country medleys, or sometimes we do parodies if it was for corporate things. And these wigs got used and traveled with quite a bit. And they started kind of falling apart. And then Karen eventually, as the corporate market kind of fell off for what we were doing, she became very successful in the new thought music world. And so she gave me her wig. So I have these two country wigs, a blonde and a brunette. And so I might just have to do like a split screen and do both of them someday.
Yeah. Sounds like it might be time to break them out. I mean, if ever there was a reason.
Yep. And I love reclaiming country music. It was kind of like at the protest, people had signs as flags saying, being patriotic used to be nonpartisan. And it's about time we're the real patriots here. We're trying to defend the Constitution. And if that country music is great, it's got a sense of humor, a sense of playfulness. The harmonies are always really fun. It's fun. And why does it? And it isn't exclusively right wing, although there are a lot of right wing country artists, but there's some pretty hip liberal ones too. So I'm going to reclaim country music, but it is fun to make fun of MAGA people in their preferred music genre.
It's just fun in general. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. It makes me smile. And putting on that big hair just gets me into character.
I'm sure it does.
But you should, I have to take pictures of this poor wig. It has not been maintained properly. This thing is like, 30 years old.
Yeah.
And both of them. But the blonde one I use more because it now matches my hair. But in the back, it is so sad looking. It is really falling apart.
Yeah, wigs are, you have to like take care of them in this weird way. I had one from when I used to perform Ozman. I had like a long-haired Ozzy Osbourne wig, and it did not last long because I didn't keep it on the little styrofoam head like you're supposed to or anything. I just threw it in my bag. So it got tangled and messed up, and it didn't last.
Yeah. I have quite a few from when I used to do more corporate theater, and I mostly keep them either on the heads or in a bag, turned inside out. So but these country ones are big, so they're particularly vulnerable.
Yeah.
And pretty sad looking. So one of these days I'll probably find a wig maker and have them fixed. But anyway, they work for the videos, and cool. I don't know. I think we need humor more than ever. And I just started a couple of months ago posting on Blue Sky, and a couple people picked me up in starter packs. And so I went from a few hundred to over 2,000 followers, and it's grown every day. So
wow, nice.
We on kind of Blue Sky, or my YouTube channel, Psycho Supermom, got a few more subscribers. I think people are hungry for humor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, and I feel silly. It's not like it's changing people's lives, but I'll plug this when I get closer to it on the phone. I'm doing a fundraiser that'll both be in person and streaming for a Bay Area based trans support organization, because that's such a vulnerable community. And that'll be May 25th. So at least I'm doing something specific for a cause and bringing in both trans and ally performers as just like a celebration of partnership. So I'll do that. But then, if I can help make people laugh, then that's the whole mission of FuMP anyway.
Yep.
So we need the FuMP too.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned all that. Do you have anything else you'd like to plug?
Just my YouTube channel or Blue Sky. I think it's Lauren's Comedy Songs. Either Lauren's. Yeah. I didn't even know my handle on Blue Sky. But coming over there, there's some really nice people on Blue Sky, and it seems to be a different kind of platform. You don't get any crap stuff into your feed if you don't want it. So I've enjoyed that. That's the only live thing I have. May 25th. It's a Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific. It'll stream. And I'll have that information on my Facebook page, which is Lauren Mayer Comedy Songs, and I'll send the FuMP the information too.
Sounds good. Lauren's Comedy Songs found you. Okay.
Oh, great.
Because I am on Blue Sky, but I tend to forget it exists, so I don't use it a whole lot. But I'm going to try to change that.
That's where I saw the Chickens Are in Congress sign. So there's some good, fun content there. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it reminds me of the early days of Twitter, which I miss the early.
Yeah,
Twitter,
exactly.
you know.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was.
It was really fun, and you met cool people. And
Yep.
So we need fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for your patience and rolling with my. Oh, sorry. I just spaced the
No
timing.
worries.
So,
No worries.
But I never space out on the FuMP. I love the FuMP, and I'm really grateful for playing my stuff. And I'll post something new soon.
All right. Well, we'll catch you next time.
All right. Thank you.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now? Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback. Mad Mike wrote, "Hell yeah, socioeconomic commentary at its best. That's comedy. It's like watching The Daily Show for real news." You're right, though. Thank you, Mike. And over on YouTube, user by the name of Caleb Flores 9543 wrote, "Let's go." I'm assuming he means let's go, but it's LES go. So, thank you. And A-Log.
Oh my god, it's you, not again.
A-Log wrote, "Glad to bring forth a good topic of discussion, even if Luke missed it. Although it does put this fear in me. Had I started my show A-Log on the airwaves, if I was born much earlier than 1985, and the radio execs take one look at my show on the syndication schedule and go, oh yeah, get rid of that A-Log show too. Doesn't fit the target demographic of 12-year-old girls with no taste." I did have a sneaking suspicion that the doc got screwed that way, and I was right. I know the doc told me several times in emails of the past that he never once gotten rejected by major labels having a novelty artist and figured out where to play it, but I still wouldn't be surprised if songs like Gangnam Style were never brought to the doc's attention for more airplay. Hell, I'm still unsure if the likes of Lil Nas X or Young Gravy know they were played on the Dr. Demento show. That's what I miss, the days when an artist would mention that they were being played on Dr. Demento via their website. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to a corner to weep for the future again. Thank you, A-Log. And
so what was the context of that?
His comment from last week, which I forget. Let me pull it up. Hang on. It's what started the whole rant about late-stage capitalism. Let's see. Oh, no, that's 773. I need 772. He says many cable channels are just marathons that are hyper-focused on one thing, like Teen Titans Go and SpongeBob. And he says, do you think that's why TV is dying? Bad case of the reruns. And I got into my whole rant about how publicly traded companies have to make mo money ad infinitum. So, all right. Hamner Hack wrote, Today's radio conversation reminded me of the WKRP episode where Dr. Fever got Mother Carlson to admit that she would make more money if the station was a failure, and that's why she put her son in charge. Exactly. Thank you, Hamner Hack.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's it for feedback.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy.
Oops. Cut that a little short. That's okay. Tomorrow's song is by Joe J. Thomas. And Tuesday's song is by Matt Harbert, who you may not recognize his name. He's only posted one other song to the FuMP. The song he posted was High School Facebook Friend. So we got another one from Matt coming up on Tuesday. All right. So Spotify playlist topics. Baramon emailed me and suggested I do a playlist of the best of Devo Spice, and then I can do best of other FuMP artists in future weeks. So should I, or is that too self-serving?
Well, here's a thought. Like, maybe do best of Devo Spice, but have it be like, well, I don't know if you want to go through the trouble of doing a poll, but you could at least like do a Facebook posting, say, what song would you put on a best of Devo Spice,
I did a
Luke
Ski style poll a couple years ago. Let me see if I should still have the results somewhere.
Like, I remember when you had announced that you were going to be doing Rhythms from the Crypt, and like you announced like what songs were going to be on, you were intending to put on it, and then everyone was like, "Wait a minute, what about this song? What about this song? What about this song?" And then you kind of turned it into like, "Okay, what songs do you think should be on it?" And then that led to a bunch of other stuff being on it. So
okay, so yeah,
I can. We all collectively whined and complained.
I do have my results. The number one song was tied in the 80s, and I Am the Doctor. So I will.
Well, how old is that poll though?
It's from 2021. Wet Ass Pussycat is not on the poll, so I may have to pull a mulligan.
Well, let me refer to the FuMP real quick. Let me go to the FuMP.com and the ultimate database for... Okay, I didn't include the exclamation point in Yo Sam, so it's not going to let me find it.
Just search for Sam. That's all you need to do. Just search for Sam.
Okay, so you said 2021?
Yeah. Yo Sam is newer than that. I know that.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like looking at like... yeah, I would add Yo Sam, and yeah, you said Wet Ass Pussycat wasn't on there, so I'd add that, and maybe Lawyer Up. It was nominated for a Logan Award, so
yep, I could do that. When did Wet Ass Pussycat come out?
Wet Ass Pussycat is okay. Wet Ass Pussycat
was end of 2020.
Came out in 2020.
Yeah, it should be on this list. It's not. Huh. That's weird. Unless this
Stupid Rap Battles 3 on the list.
3, I believe. Yes, yeah, 3 is on there. It's down at number 23 or so.
Wait, was Spider-Verse on that list?
Yes, Spider-Verse is number 4, right behind.
Okay.
It's tied for third place with Dinky McDiddly Boots. So the top 10 that I have right now on this spreadsheet are I Am the Doctor, In the 80s, Dinky McDiddly Boots, Spider-Verse's, Snack Bar, Devo Are You Shoebox, The Geeks Come Out at Night, Platform Wars, We Want the FuMP, and Weird Al Didn't Write This Song. We Want the FuMP really shouldn't be on there. That's not one of mine. You wrote that. Actually, no. I did write that.
We Want the FuMP?
Yeah, I'm confused it with the other one. Yeah, I did write We Want the FuMP.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can swap out Wet Ass Pussycat, Yo Sam, and Lawyer Up with some of these 3 at the bottom.
Zoom meeting would be another good one, possibly.
Yeah. It may be time for another poll.
And Mandalorian.
All right, so I'll do that, and then next week we can do the best of Luke Ski. You can just give me your top 10 on the thing.
Well, alrighty then.
All right.
Conveniently, the list is already done.
Yes, exactly.
Like, just The top 10 plus lower decks keep it moving in chicken. Just go.
Yep. All right, so Steve Goodie is at stevegoodie.com. Lauren Mayer's on YouTube at Psycho Supermom. And, yeah, don't use a 20-year-old EpiPen. It won't work very well. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski, and Steve was here. And
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say...
Snoopy the dog is by the great Luke Ski and not Devo Spice because Devo has a peanuts allergy.